Hey YouTube, SlingBlade98 here. This is going to be a quick news video. I wanted to talk to you guys about how I feel as though they're blacking out actual relevant stories in favor of pop culture, sports, and local petty crimes that have gathered national attention. When was the last time you actually heard something relevant on the news that actually had some global significance and wasn't just something to drum up fear and patriotism? If you watch the news in America today, it's a constant stream of weather, pop culture news, sports, and Facebook plugs and Twitter plugs. Everyone on CNN now has their own Twitter page. And you know, fuck what's happening in Syria. Check out Don Lemon at Facebook. Who the fuck cares about Don Lemon and his fucking Facebook page? Fuck you, Don Lemon. Anyways, my point is that I feel as though they're not feeding us any actual stories, and I think you guys need to get off the TV and turn on the internet and look for some real news there, because there are some blogging sites and some fairly underground web news sites that still cover the actual legitimate stories and aren't just, you know, stoned conspiracy theories. I really feel as though that they're covering something up. There's a lot going on in the world right now. There's a lot more going on than sports news and pop culture, and that's really all we're being fed. I know that a lot of these stations are owned by the same couple, you know, multi-millionaire moguls, and I think that a lot of them probably have ties to politicians, and the cause of this could be not only the unrest in the Middle East, which we play some role in, arguably. I don't want to get put in Guantanamo Bay, but I will say that we are over there and involved. I'm not saying we're causing anything. We may or may not be. I'm leaning towards may. But my point is that that's going on, and it's also an election year, so there's a lot of tumult and a lot of change that could be coming on that I think they want to make us oblivious to. And if you look at how ignorant the stories are that are being, you know, broadcasted over the airwaves, and how sometimes a story will just be dropped. I mean, Jon Stewart one time said the media is either, you know, in a circus over something, or it's completely ignoring it. It's kind of like WWE, where, you know, if somebody leaves, they won't mention it. The news is a lot like that. I mean, once a story is off of circus mode, they will not give you an update. When was the last time you heard an update on how the people in Haiti or Japan were doing? Or what about the pollution from the nuclear reactors in the ocean and how that affects fish and all of the other wildlife that we sometimes eat, as well as the water that our kids may play in the, you know, on the beaches and stuff. And, you know, the air. That's a serious global matter. Pollution from that nuclear, you know, meltdown of sorts. And I think that when you hear more about checking out Don Lemon at Facebook, or checking out you know, what J-Lo said last night, or I don't know, it just feels as though they're really trying to deliberately keep us from the truth. And I try not to buy conspiracy theories unless there's some cold hard evidence of them, but by the same token, I feel as though that there really is some actual conspiracy here to keep the public in the dark and keep them content. So, you know, in an election year, everyone thinks things are going well, and I don't know if this is Obama subsidizing all these Rupert Murdoch-owned things in order for people to be lulled to sleep and think that everything is fine other than the poor economy that we all know about, and that's, you know, something they can't really hide. But I think that there is a definite effort to keep us in the dark, and that's really the thesis statement of this video that I'm trying to get out to you guys. So next time you're looking at your local news station, like I do sometimes in the morning before school or before work, like you guys might do, check out the stories that are being broadcasted to you. And I always ask myself, I wonder what they're not telling me today. So next time you look and you see all of the lowbrow commercials that are being pumped into your head during the broadcast, I mean, sometimes they have them on the ticker, or they'll mention them during the actual broadcast. I feel as though that should not be allowed. News stations should not be allowed to have commercials during broadcasts of that program, because what if there's a Toyota scandal and Toyota sponsored that broadcast? Do you think that they might stow that one somewhere behind the weather and between the sports broadcasts? I mean, I think that they would, and I think I've seen that happen time and time again, where a story will blow up and then it will just disappear off the face of the earth, and that scares me. For instance, if you turn on the news right now, what will you really hear about the Colorado shooting that happened several days ago that isn't just old news being regurgitated? They aren't telling us anything new, and the story has completely been dropped, whereas a few days ago it was all that was on the airwaves. Now, it sounds as though they wanted to cover something up, so they might have used HARP to mind control some dude, and then, this guy was a neurosurgeon, had no motive to do this, and they haven't gotten any proof that his motives were pure. So what I'm trying to say here, I guess, and I'm losing my composure a little bit, this is a completely off-the-cuff video that I haven't rehearsed. I'm doing this in one take for you guys. What I'm saying is it seems rather suspicious, for instance, and I'm just using this as an example because there are definitely other ones, that this guy, out of the blue, throws his whole future away. It makes national headlines, rightfully so, and I made a video condoling the families and stuff, and then it's just completely dropped from the rotation altogether. That seems a little fishy to me. And now we're back to the same old doldrums, the same old irrelevant news, petty crimes, some rape here, some murder there, some politician said something stupid that everyone else is for some reason giving them publicity over instead of chastising them by ignoring them. I mean, there's no such thing as bad publicity, so we should really be ignoring those people when they say something stupid, or if they fuck up, rather than pumping, their campaigns into the airwaves every time they say something mildly controversial. Oh, Obama says he doesn't like Romney's tie. The Republicans are like, he's politicizing our dress wears. I don't know. It all is completely lowbrow dipshit coverage to me, and I think that they're using social media and pop culture and sports and to some degree the weather even just to brainwash us and to make us think that nothing important is happening in the world, so we can just continue to live our meaningless capitalist lives without any consideration of the world around us. And I'm trying to think of these words as they come to me. This is obviously a pretty grand scheme topic, and I've said some controversial things so far in this video, but I think that you guys will agree the news does not really talk about much global stuff. They talk about what they think people want to hear, and that's why I think that there should not be ads allowed on the news. That way it would be more like it used to be with Walter Cronkite and stuff, where they actually broadcast stuff of significance, not just stuff that is used to sell airspace. I mean, remember Edward R. Murrow and his battle with Joseph McCarthy through the press, and how there were several ad companies that actually pulled their support, but he broadcasted his thing anyways, and that actually helped out a huge, phony conspiracy guy in the government who was ruining a lot of people's lives. Phony conspiracy guy isn't the best term, but his accusations were false, is of course what I mean to say. And that is the allegation I'm making here. But anyways, my point is that back then, the news was more legitimate, and it wasn't just to sell Prozac and Xanax and Depends to the old people who are really the only conscious ones trying to watch the news, period. So if more young people like us tune into the news, perhaps they'll shift the demographic away from patriotically lulled to sleep old people who think that they're just doing their duty by watching the news. Because if you look at all of the ads, it's really just marketed towards old people. And to some degree, I think that if we were all to get together and actually make an impact and, say we want some legitimate coverage of the shit that's happening where there's usurpations and volatile countries of the whole governments, and we want to hear about that. I mean, remember back when they would give insider coverage of our own wars? They did it even a little bit in Iraq and Afghanistan. Now what's happening? Why do we hear nothing of Syria other than occasionally we'll hear if some local soldier dies, or the president offers his condolences to suicide bomb victims or something in some random country that we're allied with. But other than that, what do you really hear about the operations day to day? I don't expect point coordinates or some government top secret information. I don't want that stuff. Maybe some of that is better off left secret, but my point is that we deserve to know what's going on a lot more than we do. So thank you for watching, and I hope you guys like this video. Rate, comment, subscribe, and give me your opinions in the comment section, as they're the most important thing to me. Okay, I love you guys. Goodbye.